On a warm December morning in 1948, the body of an unidentified man was discovered on Somerton Beach near Adelaide, Australia. Dressed in a sharp suit, he exuded an air of mystery. A man without a name, without clear reason for death, and with only one cryptic clue tucked in his pocket. A tiny slip of paper reading Tamam Shud, Persian for "it is ended." In the decades since, this unsolved case, commonly known as the Tamam Shud mystery, has mesmerized detectives, amateur sleuths, and conspiracy theorists around the world. Was he a spy? A jilted lover? A man running from his past? Tonight, we dive into the 75-year-old puzzle that has refused to yield its secrets. But before we reveal the 5 most perplexing clues that continue to baffle investigators, ask yourself, if someone's entire life can disappear without a trace, how many others have slipped away unnoticed? Adelaide, 1948. The war was over, Australia was rebuilding, and summer was in full swing. Nestled along the coast, Somerton Beach was a popular spot for locals seeking sun and sand. On December 1st of that year, early morning beachgoers stumbled upon a man lying against the seawall. At first glance, they assumed he was asleep, perhaps a drunken reveler from the night before. Yet, as they approached, a chilling discovery awaited. The man was dead. No wallet, no identifying documents, no obvious cause of death. He wore a pressed suit, polished shoes, and had an unlit cigarette on his lapel. His face was serene, almost as if he had dozed off peacefully. Police were summoned, and soon the entire city was buzzing with rumors. Who was this anonymous gentleman? Why was he here of all places? And what did Tamam Shud really mean for his fate? Authorities quickly realized this case was anything but straightforward. An autopsy revealed no signs of trauma, no bullet wounds, and no traces of poison easily detectable by the era's tests. One pathologist suggested there might have been some rare, fast-acting toxin, but nothing conclusive was found. Clues began to emerge. Clothing tags removed. Every label had been snipped out of his garments. No missing persons. Match. Inquiries across Australia turned up nobody matching his description. A secret pocket. Days later, investigators discovered a hidden fob pocket in the man's trousers containing the slip of paper with Tamam Shud. This slip came from the final page of a rare edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, an 11th century collection of Persian poetry. It seemed like a bizarre calling card, almost a clue deliberately left behind. Then, about a month into the investigation, police received a tip. Someone had found a copy of the Rubaiyat in the backseat of their car, discarded, they assumed, by a passerby. The last page had been torn out, exactly where Tamam Shud would have been. In that book, faint writing of a code was discovered, a string of letters that have stumped cryptographers for decades. The Tamam Shud mystery is defined by a series of perplexing details that only grow more baffling. Tonight, we count down the 5 most intriguing clues, each one a stepping stone to a theory more bizarre than the last. Could it all tie back to international espionage, a clandestine love affair, or something else entirely? Before we tackle our countdown, let's cover a few more essential details. When police scoured local hotels and hostels for clues, they found a suitcase at Adelaide's train station, believed to belong to the unknown man. Inside were more clothes with tags removed, a stenciling brush, suggesting he might have worked on merchant ships or in the military, and thread unavailable in Australia, but common in the United States. Over the years, the case has taken numerous twists. A nurse known only as Jestin came forward when the torn Rubaiyat was linked to her phone number scrawled on the inside cover. She allegedly gave a copy of the poetry book to a man she called Alfred Boxall during the war. Yet Alfred Boxall was found alive and well, and his copy of the book was intact, no pages missing. So who was Somerton Man? Clue number 1. The very phrase that gives this case its name, Tamam Shud, was secretly tucked in the man's clothing. It translates from Persian to "it is finished" or "it is ended." Many interpret this as a poetic flourish pointing to suicide. but there's no hard evidence to confirm that. Others suspect it might have been a cryptic message, perhaps something to do with espionage or hidden identities. The fact that the phrase was torn from a rare edition of Omar Khayyam's work only intensifies the mystery. How and why would someone carry this final note as they met their end? Clue number 2. The code found in the back of the Rubaiyat. A series of letters arranged in rows defies easy decryption. Cryptographers from military and academic circles tried to crack it, to no avail. Some guessed it might be an acrostic poem, others suggested it was a form of shorthand or a one-time pad used by spies. Its meaning remains elusive. Could it contain details of a secret mission, an illicit affair, or even instructions for a final rendezvous that never happened? In nearly 75 years, no one has definitively deciphered this puzzle. Clue number 3. The nurse at the heart of the story. Investigators tracked the phone number in the discovered Rubaiyat to a young woman living near Somerton Beach, often referred to by the pseudonym Jestin. Her real identity was kept hidden for many years, possibly out of respect for her privacy or due to government requests. She admitted giving a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man named Alfred Boxall, yet Boxall was alive, and his copy was intact. When shown the Somerton man's bust, Jestin allegedly reacted with genuine shock, but she insisted she had no idea who he was. Some suspect she was lying to protect a secret child she might have had with him. Could the Somerton man be the father of her child? Others take a darker view. Maybe she feared espionage entanglements if she told the truth. Clue number 4. The suitcase discovered at the Adelaide train station. Among the mundane items, underwear, pajamas, a razor, investigators found a spool of bright orange thread not sold in Australia, but common in the United States. The man's clothing was well made and indicated he traveled extensively. Some believe this points to a merchant seaman or a traveler of international routes. Others think it aligns with theories of espionage. Covert operatives often carried items from various countries to obscure their origins. Why remove all the clothing labels? Was it a standard espionage tactic, or an effort by the man to hide his identity? Clue number 5. The autopsy gave only vague hints: enlarged spleen, congestion in the brain, and the stomach lining. One doctor posited a rare poison might have killed him, something that decomposed too quickly for standard tests of the time. Others argue it could have been an underlying medical condition, or even a suicide by an unknown toxin. The lack of any conclusive result only amplifies speculation that professional assassins were involved. Or maybe it was a personal choice to exit life in a dramatic, poetic fashion. Each of these clues raises more questions than answers. Yet combined, they paint a picture of a man who meticulously erased his identity, or had it erased for him. We've arrived at the heart of the mystery. Let's place these 5 confounding elements in the spotlight. 5. The inconclusive autopsy hinting at rare poisoning. 4. The curious suitcase and US-made thread. 3. The elusive nurse, Jestin, her phone number and a suspicious reaction. 2. The unbreakable code scribbled in the Rubaiyat. 1. The Tamam Shud scrap, so small, yet so central to the case. When woven together, these clues paint a portrait of a meticulously orchestrated plan. Someone either made themselves vanish or was made to vanish. In an era of post-war espionage, a single slip of paper might hold secrets capable of shaking nations. Or maybe it was the sorrowful farewell of a broken man who wished his final act to be as cryptic as the life he left behind. Even now, the Somerton man rests in an unmarked grave, his identity a ghost in the annals of Australian history. Countless researchers, journalists, and detectives continue to dig for answers, sometimes turning to cutting-edge DNA technology, sometimes following a hunch about old espionage records. But after all these years, the Tamam Shud case remains unsolved, a puzzle that challenges our assumptions about identity, secrecy, and the footprints we leave behind. Is the answer hidden in a dusty government file, coded in the lines of a centuries-old poem? Or does someone, somewhere, still carry the knowledge of who the Somerton man truly was? Join us next time for another deep dive into history's most bewildering murders, mysteries, and conspiracies. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your theories in the comments. Your insight might be the missing key to crack a case that has baffled the world for over 7 decades.